Art Speaks in 3. 1, 2, 3.
Art Speaks.
Oh my gosh. Alright, now we're gonna start breathing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're just gonna breathe in, pause, release. And we're gonna breathe in your nose, pause, release. Last time, we're gonna breathe in, pause, and release. Alright, you guys, put everything out there on the stage, leave nothing behind. All things are open, so if you have any questions about what words you can say, everything goes, alright? This is an artistic space, this is a creative space. We use this space for expression and creativity, so do not feel afraid to be creative, to be expressive in your own space.
I like to break people's realities, like that's my thing.
All right.
I very much enjoy it.
Nice. Okay, so what got you inspired to be a poet?
Oh, it just happened. It really just happened. So I used to, I remember when I was first writing, first time I ever wrote, I was really emotional. I was mad at this girl for some reason. And then I wrote a poem and I showed it to my friend and they were like, oh my gosh, this is so good. And I'm like, yeah. And I threw the poem away. And then they legitimately went in the trash and was like, no, use this. And I'm like, okay. So I went and I took it to my spoken word club at my school. And then, so my mentor, Slanks and Hughes, was actually there. And so Slanks and Hughes and Kenneth something, both my mentors, they picked me up and they were like, hey, we're gonna enter you in your first spoken word competition. And I ended up winning second place. And then I was like, hey, I could kind of be good at this. And I remember when my mom was like, oh, he's just going to do spoken word, blah, blah, blah. And then I got second place and she was like, oh, okay. And then the next year, I just kept wanting to get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, because the thing is, yeah, I got second place, but for a while I was just I wasn't matching up to anybody. My pen game just wasn't that. But it's I was so determined and hungry just to win in general that it's put up or shut up. I do know Stan. He is the poet laureate here. And the thing is, when he told me about that he was a poet laureate, I was like, oh wow, as a poet, I kind of actually know how big of an accomplishment that is. To be a poet laureate, it's you the mayor of poetry for your city. A couple times I tried to do youth poet laureate, but at the same time, it's that was the only competition that I couldn't get that one at. Actually, I won one year, but this was before they were doing poet laureate in my city. So the thing is, I never got that opportunity. But it's yes, I appreciate that ARTSPEAKS is partnering with other organizations throughout the area in Florida to basically make spoken word more apparent to masses. So one of my goals is I want to learn how to stand on my own 2 feet, and I want to go to NDs, which is just individual slam, so I won't be on a team anymore, but I want to really wreck at NDs. I would say the story is all about you. It's not about anybody else. It's about you. It's about you. No one else. No one else. It's about you. That means what makes you happy. That means what pushes you. That means what makes you drive. The thing is, you can do all these amazing things. You can be popular, you can be famous, and you'll do it for other people. And the thing is, at the end of the day, if these other people don't give you the response that you hope for, are you really being fulfilled with the things that you strive to accomplish? So always do it for you. Don't do it for anyone else. Do it for you. If it's not for you, don't do it, because you're just gonna expend yourself.
So I was on Facebook one day and I seen the event, and I was just reading the description, and I thought it would be a really great opportunity for some of our students to have a chance to really have the opportunity to just be vulnerable in their art of poetry and spoken word. So we were able to organize it very quickly to have a group of our students come and participate. whether that's actually performing and some supporting their peers. I think it's amazing to see that students have a platform to really have their voices heard, for us as a community and as an audience to hear what they go through, what they think, having the opportunity to just speak freely without any judgment or any opposition of any sorts. And I'm hoping that we are able to continue to come and provide this opportunity for not just ACES in Motion students, but also all students across Gainesville.
And mark this moment in time as an important time for all of us to really be self-aware and then really look forward to the future. So I find ARTSPEAKS really truly marks this moment in time by the amazing voices that we hear, but also really talks about the future of the artists that are in this room and that you'll hear this afternoon. The overriding strategy was to bring as many people in the community together as we could. And I look around this room and we have brought a lot of people together from this community, and I'm very proud of that. And I hope we continue to do it for many more years now. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your participation in these collaborative exercises in cultural community. And I hope you have a great, great afternoon. Thank you.
If you like something that they say, feel free to shout out "Rewind." Rewind. And our artists know what that means. That means whatever you said, we want you to go back and say it again because it hit us. And it hit us pretty deeply. So please, your encouragement is much welcome. And we do also have a special guest that's going to come and share a couple pieces as well throughout the evening. We'll sprinkle him in a little bit, and we're going to jump right in and get started. So I want everybody to welcome Truth to the stage.
When they label us, it's time I started racing the board. But Method told me to keep it positive and give society knowledge. You see, America needs this poem. I'm just keeping it honest because upperclassmen don't understand that kids in the projects have it the hardest because most of them have to grow up with a mother who has to be the mother and the figure of their father. I said, most kids in the projects have to grow up with a mother who have to be the mother and the figure of their father. Half of them gonna make it on the news before they make it to college. But they still don't see it. Too busy blinded by society's stereotypical image. The same image that's got image that's got underclassmen killing each other for designer fashion just because they want a piece on all the action and just to get noticed. But I got faith in my generation because we got potential. Let's do something different than swerving up them sacks and swerving in them rentals. Let's get our education instead of picking up pistols before we picking up pencils. Society leads me to one question. What's wrong with my youth? We gotta use our mental. I just want to let America know that there's another way. But we gotta start now before it's too late. Because nobody's safe anymore.
Looked at me like, but that was fantastic. Thank you. Last year, somebody asked me where these artists get their inspiration from. Did we give them prompts or stuff to write about? No, this is their experience. This is their real life. This is their own words. We have not censored this. There are no rules here, so you might hear some stuff that makes you cringe a little bit, but it all is welcome. So the next person we have coming to the stage is Casey with My Dream.
So I called it My Dream, but I forgot the title of it. So originally it's entitled Another Weird Dream. Last night I dreamt we were rich and they were poor. We danced so nicely with shining swords. I might have died in my brain's vision, but it was worth it just to see the glisten. Sometimes I wake from my temporary fatality and gaze upon reality. I think I'll just switch off and sleep again, because these moments we have are so lovely when I can see your face as clear as if it were day, and not at 3 in my bed where I longingly lay. Because life is so hard, so confusingly cruel, I'd rather hit snooze and dream with you.
Look at her. With her long black hair, perfect nose, top of the class ranking.
With her wide-eyed, bright smile, positive attitude, whatever.
She thinks she's all that with her 4.0 GPA and early acceptance to all of the Ivy Leagues.
She thinks she's so cute just because she doesn't curse and isn't mean to people. I see right through it.
Her brown skin makes her perfect. Not too light, yet not too dark like me. She's just a privileged little girl. I haven't met her.
But I can guarantee you I won't like her. She's the perfect mix of whitewashed and colored.
Born into money, I bet she's never had to work a day in her life. She thinks she's better than everyone else because of her score on the SAT, but we all know that that's because of her expensive private tutor.
She's just pleasing enough to validate her white friends, but still black enough to receive that affirmative action scholarship.
Does she even belong in this country? Unlike her, I was born here.
She probably only listens to Kendrick Lamar and looks the other way when her white friends say the N-word.
She probably thinks she has life so hard being discriminated against and judged, but she'll never know what my life is like. I have to work twice as hard to get half as far as some of my fair-skinned classmates.
I spent so much time trying to fit in at school that I lost my home language in the process.
People judge me based on my skin color before they even get to know me.
Rewind.
People judge me based on my skin color before they even get to know me. I'm seen as the token black friend.
I always feel too American, but never American enough.
I always feel like I'm fighting a stereotype. Black is just a color, but it is seen as a weapon. Every day, innocent people of my race are getting targeted just because of their skin.
Rewind.
Black is just a color, but it is seen as a weapon. Every day, innocent people of my race are getting targeted purely because of their skin. And at school, I constantly have to prove myself because I'm seen as less intelligent. At school, I constantly have to prove myself because I'm seen as less intelligent.
People expect me to be soft-spoken and subordinate, and they're surprised when I actually have a personality.
They always expect me to be someone that I'm not. Fitting in is hard. I'm not like everyone else. There are questions that I'll never be able to answer. When people say, "Where are you from?" all I can say is America. When they ask, "Can I touch your hair?" treating my body like it's a pet. And when I was little, I didn't think I was beautiful because I didn't look like my peers.
I hate being the model minority. Straight A's and national merit don't mean anything when all you feel like you're doing is filling a mold. Men see me as a white girl with a little bit of flavor. "So where are you from?" they'll ask, practically foaming at the mouth. I've been called exotic so many times I stopped keeping track. My friends say I'm intimidating, but I wonder if that's because
They've never been around a strong woman of color before.
My friends say I'm intimidating, but I wonder if that's because
They've never been around a strong woman of color before.
But maybe she feels like that too.
Maybe she knows what it's like not to fit in.
Maybe she's experienced some of the things I've experienced.
Maybe she knows how it feels to be uniquely different. After all, we both come from diverse backgrounds. We both want to be seen as equals. We both want to face the world by fighting the status quo. We both want to stand strong and shout loud. It's okay to be black, beautiful, and intelligent.
It's okay to be powerful and immigrant.
Maybe she could use someone who understands. Hi, I'm Taylor.
Nice to meet you. I'm Arpy.
They performed the heck out of that piece, but did you hear what they were saying? All through the night, we want you to listen, not just look at what they're doing and hear what they're doing. We want you to listen because they put a lot. They put themselves. That was them in this piece. That was Casey and her piece. And we want you guys to really appreciate where they're coming from. Great job. Next, we have Miss Madeline Walker with Bloody Poetry. Poetry class I took last semester. I thought I was really going to enjoy it, and I hated it, like with a burning passion. And I performed it at our last climate strike here in Gainesville. It's called Bloody Poetry. My name's Madeline Walker. Okay.
I have spent so much time trying to figure out what kind of poetry it is that I like. I have decided that William Carlos Williams makes me want to dump the contents of that damn thread wheelbarrow right on his face, that Edgar Allan Poe is at least 100 shades too dark and 100 years too old, and that, quite frankly, I think T.S. Eliot was a pretentious bastard. I have spent or wasted or suffered my way through many an English class with which the class was forced to endure the white man's classic, colonialism, sexism, racism. I have spent hours confined to classroom desks reading poetry that was not written for me. I find I only write love poems about women because every love poem I have ever read has been about a woman. I find that sometimes I do like to write love poems about women, but those poems were not written for me either. The beautiful, elusive she with her long, blonde hair and her big, round eyes always ends up driving a minivan with at least 4 children strapped inside that are probably all boys and will probably do just as boys do. I've spent hours confined in a classroom reading American poetry while indigenous people are fighting for the right to survive upon the very land that American poetry stole from them. I have spent hours confined in a classroom reading American poetry while indigenous people are fighting for their right to survive upon the very land that American poetry stole from them. I read Hemingway while there are people marching in the streets of Chile and Hong Kong, while there are men and women and children in concentration camps, while Flint still doesn't have clean water, while indigenous women are missing and murdered, while sea levels are rising to our doorsteps to drown us, while Jeff Bezos and Nestle are out there existing, while the Jesus chicken that you eat every day but Sundays, taking your money and making sure that it will never be safe to be queer, while there are millions of people suffering and yelling and protesting right outside the door. You see, the thing is, I know exactly how I like my poetry. I like my poetry bloody. I like my poetry raw and red syrup splattered on marching boots and against the steps of the fucking White House. I like my poetry bloody. I like my poetry raw and red syrup splattered on marching boots and against the steps of the fucking White House. I like my poetry screamed in streets with fists in the air, screamed in bars with fists in the air, knuckles brass, and mohawks purple and jackets leather and studded. I like my poetry in courthouses, spat from the mouths of teens that shouldn't have to be there, spat from the mouths of women who shouldn't have to be there, and spat in the faces of criminal men who shouldn't be there or in any sort of political office. I like my poetry in courthouses, spat from the mouths of teens that shouldn't have to be there, spat from the mouths of women who shouldn't have to be there, and spat in the faces of criminal men who shouldn't be there or in any sort of political office. I like my poetry to make you wonder or not it's inciting anger, makes you want to punch a Nazi in the face kind of anger, a this machine kills fascists kind of anger. I like my poetry queer and brown and black and female and indigenous and disabled and neurodiverse and Muslim and Jewish. I like my poetry angry enough for you to get up and scream from the top of your lungs about climate injustice, about environmental racism, about injustice any and everywhere. I like my poetry tender enough to make you open your arms to love and to protect thy neighbor. I like my poetry hopeful enough for you to take on the world and start a revolution. And I like my poetry brave enough to get you to get up and write your own damn poetry.
Like today, seriously. Thank you, Ellen, that was fantastic. Next we have Gil Avon David doing If I Could Write. There she goes.
God, my stomach feels like a blender. Yeah, so everyone here has been great. Just warning, my poem deals with some mental health things, and if that definitely makes you uncomfortable, I would take the time to leave right now. Also, another warning, according to my friends, I am so tone deaf that listening to me sing should be a punishment for war criminals. So forgive me if the beat is just slightly off. If I could write a poem, it would be about you and me and how it should have been I would write about how you left me behind crying inside my own useless body, dead after an hour out. I would write a poem that would say my physical form is beneath me. These lumps of fat around my thighs and the disease that plagues my brain shouldn't have to define me. But your words of war left me reeling, with everyone fleeing from the girl who's nothing but problems. The one that would release me from my woes, I keep thinking I will. Sorry, but alas, my sweet prince, I cannot write this cathartic poem, the one that would release me from my woes. I keep thinking I will one day, but all I've done today was feel like nothing. Again and again and again, I feel hollow, empty, apathetic to the troubles that slowly burn my soul. I came from dust, and dust I am. There was nothing that could make that go away, not even you in your prime, back when you were still sublime. So here I am, crumbs on my sweater, weeds on TV, and I hope you can see why I cannot bring anything to you today but self-pity.
Next we have Bonnie Price, and she's got 2 pieces that are untitled.
So I've never done this before. Sorry if it's a little iffy. This first piece does not have a title, so I'm going to start. In hymns, I find my soul enraptured, entranced, or else enchanted by the rise and fall of melodial society. If life were a hymn, she'd be rumbling subway trains under concrete, rubber bands bitten into raw skin. The fluctuating light comes and goes and changes shape, like the indecision of a woman too far gone to feel the tip of her nose, the pad of her foot. In blues, I sit witness to a testimony of generations gone up in smoke, lives stored in the must of a broom closet. Blues are the red, bitten nail beds at the tips of the fingers, found on the bodies of atrocity, of slavery, of Holocaust, of the brutalized, victimized grains at the bottom of the bucket. The blues are torn white flags waving through the blackest nights, through the meek surrender ignored in favor of annihilation, the cries of the people as they're pulled apart from themselves. In pop, I praise the highest of the world's tree canopies, sing the screams which weigh heavy in my stomach. In pop, the manifested poor mingle with the metastasized wealthy, get caught up on chair rails and crown molding, doorstops, and the legs of folding chairs laugh on the way down. In the heavy drumbeats of rock hits, I whisper my dissent. I cry and I rage and I burn, and God looks down or up at me with disdain. Rock is chafed throats, is raw livers and the laceration of broken grass blades. I made a shiv from the echo of an electric guitar, but it refused to sharpen and instead reprimanded my ignorance with an eardrum-shattering whine. In music, there is continuation, not continuity nor persistence. All of the sounds of history coalesce into a wave composed of sound which just barely nicks my ear. The hum of nothing calls me into the other, but the music of everything else keeps me where I am. Okay, and then this next one is roughly titled, 8-year-old me didn't really know what Martin Luther King Jr. looked like. I had a dream a few nights ago. It came and went like all of my dreams do. Full of chaos and fear and excited passion, it was a world of people, a world without reason and without morals. I had forgotten the dream in its entirety save a piercing, muddied eye which stared through my not body and judged it. I had a dream once, I must have been 8 or 10, about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s famous speech. I recall his face. It wasn't his face, it wasn't that face. I'd never seen a picture of him. Just stylized book illustrations, a recording of his voice from class, a sense of righteous peace. He was black in my dream, but he was the black from my fragmented childhood. He had long rows of braids, deep inky skin, a little bit of a gut. He had inquiring brown eyes, and they accused me of everything I'd ever questioned about myself. They stood behind a podium protected by an army of antique microphones. From where my dream self stood in the audience, they judged us all. I have dreams nearly every night. They sit behind clouds and silhouette-fissured depictions of homes, knotted interactions, stagnant water disrupted by the sprinting pace of a barefoot. I have dreams which tear at my agency, undefine the words autonomy and individual. I awake from them in an unidentified daze. My self wanders back into my head and my chest at its leisure. It lets me sit upright or lay sprawled, and it winds its way through my sheets and back into my thoughts. For the brief time during which I am not, I realize the trueness of the dreamscape in this plane. I ache with the realm of indignant fervor. I sit alone and bask in the screaming silence, which has eyes all full up with gleeful punition. When I come back into the land of the living, it's hard-edged and cold. But at least hear those eyes, those harbingers of fate, executioners before jurors, they cannot find me here.
So now we're going to kind of transition a little bit, and we're going to bring up our keynote for him to sprinkle a little bit of his juices on us. And I have a little quick bio before he comes up. And I want everybody to welcome Mr. Grim Jackson. Grim started writing poetry in 2013 as a form of personal expression in his high school poetry club. In 2016, he became the only person in the world to win both the Brave New Voices International Youth Poetry Slam and the National Poetry Slam the same year. He has continued to make history by winning the Southern Fried Regional Slam 3 years in a row. He has since become a dynamic teaching artist and leads workshops in writing and performance all over the country. He is best known for his unique perspective and groundbreaking approach to performance, poetry, and hip hop. And when he introduced himself to us, he said, "I'm dope."
You're going to see some of my some more of my poetry later throughout the night. I'm actually about to just do one piece for you guys right now, just like a little taste of what you might get through at the end of the show. But just like a little plug before I get into my poems, because later I'm probably just going to get into them. So I'll give all my plugs and information and stuff now. So my name is Grim Jackson, as you heard. I have a bio and stuff. But I am also a self-published artist, author. This is actually my book called I Don't Believe in Gravity. It's only $10. Only $10! So the thing is, if you like my poetry, you can come up, speak to me. You can buy my book. Etc., etc., etc. So I'll just hit you guys with poems.
What's racism? Mommy, does racism still exist? Mommy, what's oppression? Mommy, what's the government? Mommy, does does the government still, does the government oppresses people? What's AIDS? What do black people have to do with AIDS? What's population control? What's the New World Order? Are they real? No, if God wrote the Bible, if man wrote the Bible, then why do we keep calling it God's word? Mommy, who's Lucifer? No. Who's Lucifer really? Is light the same as darkness? Is science the same as religion? If not, how come one is taught in schools and one isn't? How come astronauts haven't found heaven yet? Mommy, are God and government the same? Are taxes the same as tithes? But mommy, I thought money is root of all evil. If money is root of all evil, then why do we pay God with it? But mommy, I thought money is root of all evil. If money is root of all evil, then why isn't God we trust on the back of all evil? But mommy, I thought we need money to live. Do we live backwards? Mommy, do we live evil? Mommy, I'm scared. What's bipolar?
Mom, what's a pill? What's a free thinker? Why are they threats? I heard my doctor say it today. Mom, when did I lose it? I took the pill. Am I a good boy now? I don't have any more questions.
Thank you.
Textbooks, notebooks, and binders. These are meant to teach us organization. Write nice and neat and colorful pens. But is that really important? What about learning? And no, I don't mean memorizing the vocabulary words or the names of the people we will use for trivia night.
I'm talking about the history behind the influences of our country and the science behind mental disorders and illnesses.
I want to know how to do taxes and the math behind money and not how to solve a quadratic.
The standard test is usually 70% of our grade, but all tests are the same. Because students aren't treated as someone out for success, they're treated as an army of minds who all think the same.
School has taught us like robots. We have to write the same way and know the same things.
Dress code uses an excuse to watch the thin, skinny volleyball players walk around in booty shorts.
But the thicker girls with thunder thighs come along and they can't even wear dress code approved. But the thicker girls with thunder thighs come along and can't even wear dress code approved shorts.
And you use your short, skimpy outfits for sports to get more people to watch.
So tell me, are your notebooks really important? Sorry. Are your notebooks really going to help us?
So this is my favorite thing I've ever written. I've written a lot, and this is just my all-time favorite.
You have a t-shirt.
Yes, I have it on a t-shirt. Sitting here thinking about life among everything, feel so tired from pushing but continuously getting nothing. Nothing's ever good enough for this life so tough. Feeling degraded and hated, wish I could be upgraded, but it still wouldn't be good enough for this life so tough. Wanting to disappear right into thin air so I could leave this life so tough. Wishing I could be faded or traded, no more being hated. It makes me so frustrated. I've waited in this life they've created. My release is undated, so forever I guess I'll be separated in a life overregulated. Then stop, and suddenly change the backdrop. These people I barely knew came in and stopped this catch-22, and no longer was it that life so tough. How's it even possible that they saw me as adoptable? Sometimes I don't get it in this life so tough. My dreams were splattered, and I was told they no longer mattered because the fact
was that it was just my thoughts scattered on the ground like empty matter. Nobody makes it on dreams is what they told me before. That's not what this life so tough is for. But now I'm living in what some could say is a fairy tale, a book that would probably be a high-priced sale, and it all started in this life so tough. My head is held high, I'm looking into the sky, not feeling like I just want to say goodbye. I'm ready to look fear right in the eye and tell it to ruin someone else's life. And it's all because someone saved me from this life so tough.
Okay, so I come from pure experience when I speak, and everything that I read is behind me. I promise I am okay. Trigger warning, an abusive relationship. This is called All Fire is Dangerous. Mom always said fire is dangerous, like the flames you can touch in reality. But she never warned me about the ones a man could ignite within my heart. He had me lying, sneaking around, failing classes and skipping school. I was constantly lying, and the one saying is that one lie leads to the next. Well, it did for his sake. I took the fall for late curfew. I took the fall for failing classes. I took the fall for all the bruises and scars he left on me. They didn't notice I was trying to lie badly in the midst of excuses. But no one took the hint. It was him. Every single one. Here's a big one. He bit me. When the bruise was the size of a grapefruit. It was a warning, a red flag, and the reply was always, you were out having sex, don't lie. Well, everybody, I wasn't. He hit me plenty of times, and if it wasn't swinging, it was yelling something to mentally hurt someone beyond the outer layer. He was the reason I had people get me from school so I could sleep. He was the reason I couldn't focus in school because every 5 seconds there was a ping from him telling me something else was wrong with me. I told everyone that I loved him, and I truly should have said that I was scared of him. He altered my perspective on the world around me. So now I hold the fire within me, but I am the one who strikes the match. I have 2 pieces, and the other one is called Open Book. Let's turn the page. Better yet, let's switch over to your book. What made you so much better? Outside of the fact that you were raised on daddy's money and I was raised on drug money. What's up with your first chapter? Tell me how much better you are because I was raised in an alley and you were raised in a pretty garden. How are you going to tell me the first few pages of your book is better than my entire one? Alright, what about your last chapter? When you had your sweet 16 with the love of your life and you blew out candles. I blew out my candles by my grandma's grave. That was it. One day you're going to walk into my shoes and realize why I did not care for, I didn't care for price, why I didn't care for brand, because none of that mattered to me. I had the money, but I never forgot where I was brought up.
Everyone has a story. The planet, the humans, the animals we see every day. But no one has a story that intrigues me more than 2 people. One, a young woman, strong, confident, free. She didn't realize that. She grew up, not just her, but with 4 other people. She wasn't the oldest, she wasn't the youngest, but had more responsibilities than anyone in the house. A mother with problems, different than mine or yours. Once she thought she knew what she wanted, and maybe she did know, no one will ever know. 14 years old, she left, fending for herself and yet survived so long. 21 with 2 kids, 24 with a 3rd. She knew what to do. She knew how to raise a family. Never asked for help when help was not needed. And even when it was, she built her own house. She built her own foundation to grow as a person. So as I stand here today, I'm the oldest of 3 children from that woman. I'm a picture image. Confident, strong, naive, innocent. I know what I am. And yeah, I mess up, like every person ever. But like no one else, she forgives me for everything I ever done. Never turns her back. Sits with me while I cry. And yet, in her image, I'm so strong and won't let a tear fall from my eye. But when I do, it's the deepest pain because I know, as the oldest, that's my last job. To cry. To be strong. Crying is weak. That's what I've ever heard. That's all I heard. Crying is weak. Be strong. Hold it in. And that's my problem today. But as I stand here in front of everyone and tell my story isn't half as great as hers. 15, in high school, my first year. My troubles only were developed by me. Depression, mental, anxiety, brought on by me. I stressed myself, had the world on my shoulders, but I was only 6. That's the last thing I should be worried about. But yet, I always saw myself as this family superhero that I was supposed to be. When there was older people around me handling the job that I didn't need to touch. But I added myself in, thinking, I can take that stress away. That's the last thing she needs. But I didn't know she had everything built exactly for me. The story of this second woman, stronger than I can ever imagine. Not half as strong as my mom, maybe a little more, but I guess we'll see. A woman so foreign, it's amazing. But I never saw that. When I first saw her, I saw this strong black woman that I was too afraid to be around. And it wasn't because of me. It was because that was something I never seen. Someone so confident about who they were and what they wanted to be. I was 12 when I met her. And I saw it in her eyes. A graduate from college, going on her second degree, she knew what she wanted to do. But she never let that focus leave her eyes. She took care and watched over 50 horrible children. We were so bad, it was crazy to imagine. But she loved us, no matter how much pain and how much ridiculous ideas we had. She let us know your focus and your goal is college. Because, believe it or not, 50% of the black human race, or 50% of everyone in here, didn't go to college. Didn't think of it. Because of her, I wasn't sure if I wanted to go to college. I'm like, she made it. What do I gotta do it for? I have somebody to represent us. But then I thought about it. I want to do so many things and I want to help so many people. I can do that without a degree. But the first thing they're going to see is that I didn't go to college. Then who are they going to expect me to help? Someone under me? Someone with only a high school degree? Someone in middle school who looks up to me but doesn't want to do the same thing I want to do? Who am I to help? And she showed me that. Gave me that light to look at the sky and know I'm going to change the world. Powerful, black, and strong. That's what people see. But before I was 5, I didn't see the color of my own skin. But I knew I was a star before I could touch the sky and tell myself, you're gonna be something. I knew I was powerful for the world. Maybe my mental and my mind is too stable for the world. Sometimes I don't consider myself human because I feel like my advancement is too fast for the human race. Sometimes I don't call myself a human because there's so much hate in the world that I believe all my love is too great for the world. Sometimes I don't consider myself human because all the hate in the world, I feel like my love is too great for the world. I
and I'll fall down to my knees before I cry for help. And maybe then I won't even cry. Yet, I'll look at my friend while I'm dying and make sure they're fine. Where's my help? They say you never get help until you ask for it. But can't you notice someone who's crying and bleeding on the inside? What do you do? What do I do? The story of those two strong women gave me all the power I need to grow. I grow every day without stop. Friends, peers, those two women are my life, my role model.
smell of waves crashing, the sight of fresh air, it tastes like the sun rays against your skin. Real words can't describe this feeling, nothing can compare to it. Red, yellow, orange is the best feeling ever, although I don't feel it often. I live for it. He tells me that it's worth it to live until I see it. A day where I can see I am truly happy. He says that I deserve to feel this way. I want to taste the sun rays and hear the fresh air. Red, yellow, orange. Courageous. Optimism. So yellow, so orange. A hint of happy red. Like sunflowers and pumpkins. Jumping in puddles, dancing in the rain. Nothing can compare to red, yellow, orange. I want to feel this way, but the voices don't. Alex. The sound of music. Smells like rain. Always wears a tie-dye shirt. Always sits with his legs crossed. He's the good guy. Green, orange, yellow. He feels like spring tastes. He protects me. He doesn't want me dead. He knows me. I know him. He helps. But there's always the blue purple, a downside. He isn't always there when I need him. Not after he told me his name. He always said that it was better off without me knowing his name, yet he told me anyway. He always looks yellow, but feels a deep blue. His smile is how sky blue and pastel pink taste together, like the sound of cotton candy. Green, orange, yellow, nature, growth, empowerment. I crave these colors, the scents and tastes. I'd love to touch the green, orange, yellow colors, like vines. They grow over me and take over the voices. The water washes them away with their words of wisdom and pushes them back to the back of my brain. She's lovely. She walks hand in hand with red, yellow, orange. They run to me and pick me up and set me free into wild. Butterflies soaring above, birds singing, treetops high, high in the air, freedom. Purple, green, blue. The feeling of skyscrapers, how purple tastes and how green smells. Terrifying. All my fears combine to make her. Her name is anxiety. She's what kills me. She doesn't like me to get out of bed. She raises my senses and treats me like a shy baby. She fights red, black. He's dangerous. She pushes me out into a crowd of nothingness, knowing that I'm scared of being alone in a crowd. He finds me there, and she runs. Run. I don't run. I stay. Why? Why do I stay? Trust issues. I stand still, not knowing where to go next. Where do I go next? Red, black. Danger. Death. Kill. He wants me dead. He wants me to kill. He needs me in pain. How blood smells and how a knife tastes. A silver metal, diesel, gasoline, lead, not graphite, lead. Red Black walks up to me and grazes my chin. He says to me that I shouldn't be afraid. He says that I should jump. Nothing will happen if I jump. Where is Alex when I need him? So I listen. Everything turns deep purple and blood red, midnight black and navy blue. All at once my vision goes dark. Where is he? I jump. Falling, fell, land. Right back on my deathbed. The sound of a spoon scraping a bowl creates a song in my mind. Tick tock. Time goes by like how an eraser makes a drawing disappear. Gone. Gray brown. I'm not really sure how I feel about this one. Confusion. The taste of construction paper. The sound of fire. My mind goes blank, and I don't know what comes next. Do I move? Do I stay? I run. I don't know why I run. That's all up to gray brown. Green, orange, yellow, pink, like flowers, blooming paint, creativity. A picture only my mind can see. Feeling like you're melting into a million pieces, everything flows. Everything flows. I become a pool of yellow pink and thoughts that bloom like petals on a flower. Writing a song, being in control of what I do and what I think. Red Black decides to break my focus with a deeper song. Thoughts of suicide, a purple green. I put my pen down. The green darkens. Thoughts cloud my mind and I want to disappear. Disappear. Make me disappear. My hands shake, my body numb. Make me disappear. I decide to lay down and listen to my music, a deep blue and pastel pink. Creative, sad, only the sad lingers. Sad, deep blue, blue. Ocean, salt in a wound. In my eyes, sand stuck to me like it's glued, my eyes into a page. I'm writing again. Line after line after line after line, I'm writing again, but only the sad lingers. My hand hurts, but I like the pain. Red, black. Voices hit me like a train. They pull me back and forth, deathbed. They say your goodbyes, this is the end. This is how it ends. You have come to an end. So I write a letter, or two, or three, I put it into my collection of suicide notes that will never be sent out. Alex says that red, orange, yellow is worth it. Red, black tells me that it will never happen. Never. It will never happen. Will it ever happen?
Without understanding, I do as I'm told, running away from death, hiding in the white man's hands. These nightmares of freedom keep taunting me. Shackles create a fine-tune us Negroes achieve to. Nothing more than a product for profit. Human isn't a word we can say or spell. Lessons to be learned, so lips teach us. Negroes, colorful, blacks. More than one word with the same meaning. Slave, all Negroes got one meaning. Thoughts of freedom feel like a death sentence. The past is the present, and so is the future. Because of my skin, freedom isn't a privilege? Because of my skin, freedom isn't a privilege? Cut me open and witness a soul, beautiful, pure, fighting for freedom and hope. My roots goes deeper than a white man's last name. Kings and peasants never ate together, neither did masters and maids. Equal but not fair, reasonable but not right. Should we choose fate or destiny in this crooked life? Ancestors turning in their graves saying what we have done with this new reclaimed fame. Black is beautiful, but so are flowers. Education is a way out, but so is talent. Black culture is different. New meaning vibranium. Stronger than strong in Negroes. Black culture is different. New meaning vibranium. Stronger than strong in the Negro's form. Word. My life is F'd up. I'm not gonna say that word. Y'all know what I was finna say. Don't look at me now. My soul is in pain. Where this pain is coming from, I will not say. I believe silence is the key to everything. Locked up in my room, hiding from shame, lies, heard even my name. I'm so frustrated. My soul can't take it. I feel as if I'm going insane. I'm losing my mind. I believe I am a victim to a personality disorder. My life is fucked up. There, I said it. Nobody knows about this pain but poetry. It's the only thing that speaks to me. I hide behind it like my mother an alcoholic, my father deceased. Sorry. I scream so loud no one hears me. Maybe I blew out their ears with my sonic sound. All my friends see a smile and hear a laugh instead of seeing a frown, hearing a cry. Help me. Help me. Help me. My life is effed up in every kind of way. You sitting there looking at me funny until you be treated this way, you won't understand. Laugh to keep from crying is the motto I live by. These tears coming down my face is only a description of my pain. My soul is weak and overloaded. Silence is the key to everything. The four walls of my room know everything, even how effed up my life really is.
Hello. My poem is about how I see how death works with everything. Okay. Death. What is that? A difficult concept to understand. But the way I see it is that you're still living in reality. But there is a catch to it. Death, well, your image that you're seeing isn't going to be what you want. It's what you already know that you want. Your subconscious. Your subconscious already has the image of what you actually want, of what you need. That's what the image is made out of. But the thing is, when you die, you see what you want to be there. It's not what you actually want. That's your conscience telling you the opposite of what you exactly want. But for you to actually get what you want when you're into that image, you need the subconscious and the conscious to work together. But even that is extremely difficult to control and have, meaning that most of the time it's only going to be one or the other actually working together. More than likely, it will be your conscious that shows you the image that you want to see, because providing the image that your subconscious gives, it will take a lot of focus and a lot of attention to give it. But giving it too much attention wouldn't help you see it. It would just help you lose it. For you to understand what you're seeing, you can't actually see it because your eyes will be forever shut. So if you're seeing what your subconscious is seeing, you're not seeing anything except for darkness.
You can't live without love. There is nothing to spare. How can we love when very few care? Some give up on love, but they are not the ones to blame. It's because they've been heartbroken, yet they still remain. We can't live without love, and that's no doubt, because there is nothing about love that we can't live without. We get love from our families, from our brothers and sisters, from relationships, but when the love is lost, we get bruises and blisters. It's one war we could never win. There is so much hate in the atmosphere, so imagine how this world would end. Just love. I know you probably asked me, what do I know? What do I know about love? I don't know, man, I'm 15. But I do know that love is more than just saying, I love you, or random hugs and sweet gifts. Love is something that is shown from actions, because actions speak louder than words. And all of that talking, saying that you love someone is for the birds. Just love. I guarantee that the world will be a better place. I got love in my heart. What about you?
Hi. So I named it Forever Rain because a while ago, well, that wasn't that long ago, but a little bit ago, it seemed like all I used to do was rain. And I don't mean like physically, like, oh, it's raining outside, but no, it wasn't good. You know, it wasn't happy. It wasn't good. But yes, I'm gonna start. I hate when you look at me with astonished eyes when I say I can live in the dark happily and without fear. The dark makes it so easy to hide all that you told me I shouldn't show, to throw everything in the moonlight, because for as long as I can remember, the moon and rain have been my only friends. Ones who cried when I cried and listened when I talked. Better yet, not only listened but responded with words of comfort. I dance alone in the rain because everyone else hides from the muggy weather to fear of getting sick. But me, I only worry about when it will end, because I don't want to retreat back to my home. But eventually I know I will have to, because nothing lasts forever. And no matter how much I love the rain and the dark, I know that they need to rest too. So while it takes its break, I sit in the dark and await its return. Before I start, I have a pretty loud voice, so I'm going to stand away from the mic. And also, if you're in this row, I apologize for my team walking out and getting in your way. We had some issues and had to go deal with it. This poem has 2 trigger warnings, mentions of suicide and mental illnesses. So if you are uncomfortable with those problems, please, if you would like to exit, you can now. Girls. Good, smart, respectful, pretty, feminine, slim, ladylike. Guys. Strong, reliable, muscular, masculine, broadly, manly. The stereotypical couple. But why are we forced into a never-ending train of expectations and labels? School teaches us how to act and what to wear. You can't show too much shoulder. No, stomach should be visible. But the reason is what I don't like. You look like a prostitute. Okay. If you show more than your knees and elbows. Men can't control themselves. Then you limit us. Because parents and teachers don't teach men how to keep them hands to themselves. Gay men are harassed for being feminine, and lesbian women are being judged for being masculine. stories about the strong female role and the gentleman, sexualizing every lesbian film, and gay is a term for everyone. When transgenders have to listen to people and teachers call them by their dead name, did they ever consider why it's called a dead name? It is because it is a name to be buried and never to be spoken to them again. When someone you know commits suicide, people say they are sorry. And why would they do that? When someone suddenly becomes skinny, they are praised until they fade away. When I tell you I am sick and want to throw up, it is not because I am ill. These things happen because society says you are too fat and curvy for a woman. No one will like you. No one will care if you leave this earth. Society and stereotypes are never blamed because they're all sad and emotional after the storm. But only the pretties and the real men can live in the world of judgment and peace, or of judgment and violence and peace.
Wow. Hi. I actually enjoyed the entire performance. I appreciate like all the young voices that are out here making spoken word known to Florida. To be honest, I'm like really awkward when I get up on stage, and I have anxiety. You see, it's like I can go and I can perform in front of tens of thousands of people and stuff, and then I can still have anxiety and stuff when I get up on stage. But regardless of that, I have some poems, maybe about like, yeah, I got a bunch of poems. While I'm looking for those poems, let me basically. I've never really taught you guys how to listen to poetry, so I'll do that real quick. So even though it's at the end, if you ever go to another spoken word performance, so it's like let's put it like this. If I say something is like really super dope and it just really like it just resonates with your soul, like normally like I need a little energy from you. And how do you give energy to the poet? Oh my gosh, I feel it. I feel all the energy. Thank you. Oh, it's amazing. So something else that you can do to give me even more energy when I give you something like super dope that just like resonates in your soul. Like sometimes you can it's like soul food. In the beginning there was I, but then came the words. Am I making those words? I am. But what am I? Well, I am whatever I say, so I am whatever I say I am. I am earth, so now every place I am. I am space, so now every way I am. I am light, so now every day I am. I give life to the word, for the word is I. I speak, therefore I am alive. We are alive, we are the words, and our verses are many. Everything in this world is filled with our name. Speak thy tongue, and thy will be done on stage as on page. I am the omnipotent, the arts in heaven. I'm the monopene planets into existence, crafting atoms out of madness, turning with madness into dust. Let us create poets in our image, to vibrate the word, to write their own stories, and define what matters and turn potentials into movements. You ask if it's life that imitates art, or if it's art that imitates life. That's like asking if it's God that imitates the poet, or if it's the poet that imitates God. When God is the poet, and life is just a really great work of art. Branch, stick, spear, string, bow, arrow, rock, sling, stone, spark, fire, warmth, hot, rock, metal, war, 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 power, possession, politics, possession, power, possession, politics, oppression, sword, shield, ego, aggression, slaughter, conquest,
chariot, ship, militia, economy, slave, whip, saltpeter, sulfur, charcoal, gun, bullet, pistol, you can't outrun, rifle, tank, plane, missile, boom, satellite, nuke, button, doom, land, air, space, sea, mutual, assured, destruction, agreed. So, yeah, I'm just gonna hop around and just give you guys some really dope poems. So actually, this is a poem I have. It's I like to talk about politics and about deep thinking in the world and stuff like that. But every now and then, I write a poem about my feelings. And so I just thought it would be nice to like insert a poem about like just something emotional in the middle of the set before I get all more like politicky and stuff like that. Where is this poem? It's right here. Okay. Okay, seems like I didn't copy and paste it, but I have it right here in my phone. Alright, cool. The law of attraction says that when two first loves with hearts of heavy mass cross paths and find safety in each other's arms, they create a sacred place beyond time and space between them called love. No matter the distance, short or long, the two share one gravitational bond. I thought that once you kissed the girl, that we stayed together forever. However, if you were to ever fall out of love, it was never really true love to begin with. How temporary our definition of forever really is. Here she comes. It's like staring into flashbacks of happy memories that have lasted me my entire life. Like that one time on New Year's and I saw you in that velvet black dress and I couldn't take my eyes off you and you looked so good and I wanted you right then and right there in the backseat of that car, and then when you captured the night as we kissed under the city lights, you taught me how to count forevers and happy memories. When we sat and we ate, actually no, let's just get along with the poem. I already said I was gonna read the poem. And then we captured the night as we kissed under the city lights and you taught me how to count forevers and happy memories. When we sat and we ate wheat brownies naked in my room doing nothing but talking and laughing for hours, and for a few moments nothing else mattered. I didn't know how to love myself, but you knew how to love me. And that's all that mattered. Wait, here she comes. Look natural. Fix your tie. Smile. Wipe your tears. Sit straight in your seat. She's passing you by. She's walking towards her groom. You clench the wedding invite in your fist. When she was your forever, you Icarused your wings thinking she would wait forever. When I said I needed space, I hugged you and I placed my head against your chest. You know, I had never heard the heartbeat of a black hole before. It sounds so silent. Those arguments burn for days, but those bridges burn for lifetimes. Watch the pillow forts our kids will one day play in turn to ash in the palms of my hands, and all I could do was watch. I can't watch the scent of your safety out of my sheets. I still lean over to hold you sometimes, but holding on to you and holding on to happy memories just aren't the same. If you say you're happy for her, even if it's not with you, you're lying. How does it feel to watch another man heal someone that you broke? I can still hear all the wedding vows you once said to me on so many dark nights when it felt like I wanted to take my own life and remember that nothing is ever promised, not even the promises. When you one day watch your wife walk to the altar with another man, the only regret you will have after all these years is not seeing how beautiful the stars are until they are already dead. If there's anyone who has any objections on why these two people should not be married, speak now or forever hold your peace. I do. Okay, let's get back into like my original program. I had enough of my emotions. Ways to tell your child the world is ending. Listen closely, my child, for I am filled with regret that today I must teach you about the bumblebee effect. It's what happens when the generations before you are so self-absorbed and greedy, selfish and needy that the bees get sick, and their buzz gets quiet, and their wings stop moving, and so does everything else in Mother Nature. You see, most people believe that Earth's end will never be a problem for them, but maybe it will be for their children, or their children's children. I pray a day in your life never come when the entire earth takes a moment of silence to mourn what mankind has done, and you are left alone to suffer for all of our sins. But the ice caps are falling to the floor with a fury because the flowers are starting to fade. The oceans are starting to boil with anger, so the clouds are beginning to cry. The trees are speaking like burning bushes, and the waters are starting to rise. I don't know how else to say it, baby. The bees are starting to die. Pollution does not discriminate pests from pollinators, so there's going to be a lot less food on the table. A world of regulation means the soldiers will bring us our water now. A world with less plantation means a lot less option to go around. We always say how we want our children to inherit the world. However, this is not the fate I want for my child to inherit, but it is yours now. So it's up to you to take care of it. I mean, I could have tried harder to be better, to live better, if it only meant that I could give you better. But 20 years ago, I wasn't thinking 20 years ahead, electing men to lay laws who never lived to see the repercussions because they care more about their economies than their ecosystem. All I'm trying to say is they don't really care about us. And every generation faces a Great Depression or a Great War, and saying this planet is yours, no child should have to bear the weight of the entire world on their shoulders. But we have to start now, because there is no planet B. That's why I'm teaching you how to plant seeds. Not in the dirt, but inside the people of this earth. You are the first generation to feel the impact of climate change, and you will be the last to be able to do something about it. The only way to change the climate of our environment and save all of Earth's inhabitants is to teach and change the people that inhabit it. When they ask you what you are fighting for, you tell them because the future of this world is not just theirs, it is yours. I have 2 more visas, so I actually had the privilege, so I actually don't really like America's education system, like, at all. They failed me in so many different ways. So, I actually got the opportunity to speak to like 10,000 educators on like why I hate school. And it was amazing, it was fun, it was awesome. It's like, I love challenging the status quo. But it's like, it was because like, I remember the look on my teachers' faces every day I used to come into class, and they knew the look on my face meant I wasn't interested. I remember the look on my teachers' faces every day I used to write rhymes in my notebooks, and they thought that I was going to be a failure. I can't help but feel that some of those teachers might have felt like they failed me. You know, when you teach, they say you learn something new and different about every kid, but they fail to focus on how every kid learns a little bit different too. Dreams a little bit more passionate, you know. I fail to see how they can use a formula to formulate a future, because how can you equate excellence to an exam that half this room will barely understand? So, I mean, it comes to a time in a child's life we start to ask ourselves, why are we here? And to a lot of us, it won't be clear if it's not in here. So, my mind drifts to another lane because my heart can't steer. Success is living happily and not in fear. I mean, I'm locked in there, my pen's not stopping. I mean, shouldn't it be beautiful that my core is not common? Shouldn't it be beautiful that college was not my only option? I mean, first I was failing math class, but now I'm making mad cash off of all these thoughts that other kids used to laugh at. 5 years ago, teachers used to hold conferences about how my voice was a problem. Now teachers hold conferences about how my voice can be a solution, how my words are genius, how I'm a revolution. Now aren't you glad that I'm master language arts? Men, hearts, and all this is only because I got a head start. Listening to myself and not some goddamn benchmark. I mean, in hip hop, a college dropout used to sit on the throne, which is proof that we all write our own histories, because the best teachers are us, because we all learn a little bit differently, and every mind is a tree of ever-spanning branches. We must nurture it, feed it, guide it, find spaces for it to grow. Sometimes that'll mean investing a little bit more into each child's life. Sometimes that'll mean letting them go to find their own sunlight. It may suck to see a student grow in a different direction, but it's all about the seed. Yeah. I have like one more piece, and then I'm gonna get out of my hair. We can eat pizza and like drink iced tea and talk and communicate and all that good stuff.
But yeah, like I said, books are only $10. Only $10. Yes, if you like my work, you can come, you can talk to me about it. I'm pretty friendly. Take card, cash. But yeah, you can get my last piece and maybe head out.
Charge more.
Give to the people, give to the people. 5, 4, 3, put the gun to his head. 5, 4, 3, pull the trigger, and he's dead. I got my first kill today. When you're a soldier, you're taught they're just silhouettes. They're not real people. They're just targets. Taught there's no room for regret within the eyes of a soldier. I learned how to stomach death like a predator with live prey still clawing at the insides, but no one ever understands. The bloodstains, memories like generational trauma ever understand. He was a soldier just like me. He had a family just like me. He was protecting his home just like me. It was either my life or his. I'm still not sure which one of us was the villain in the situation. My psychologist holds an ink blot. She asked me, what do you see? I tell her I see a silhouette of a target, of the enemy, of a child. No, I see darkness. I see a soldier's following orders. I see a silhouette of a weapon that was never there to begin with. I see a soldier holding a semi-automatic to an unarmed 40-year-old silhouette on enemy lines. I see a soldier witnessing the aftermath of a war zone with a gun to his own temple. Post-traumatic self-destruction. It's just what happens when you finally feel the impact of the bullet that was never sent in your direction, because you know that when the body is dead, the bowels released. It's a sin that can't be washed away from your conscience as easily as sin can. So please tell me, do all military dogs go to heaven? Do we still have a place among the angels that we've murdered? Why does preserving the peace feel like home invasion? Have you ever seen a bullet make two men become soulless at the exact same time? 9mm bullet last right through the jaw of a 14-year-old silhouette. You can still see the twitch in the body make out cries and screams his mother as he choked on his own blood, only guilty for being in the wrong place, at the wrong time, on the wrong side of a battlefield when you deal with America, when you have rights. Anyway, my family called me a hero. Do you know how hard it is to go home to your child with a smile on your face that you took from someone else? Do you know how hard it is to whitewash genocide out of a uniform, see it's the duty of a soldier to serve and protect everyone in this country except for black silhouettes? They always tell you that there's a war going on, but they never teach you about the horrors of that war when you sign up. Here at the Police Academy. Thank you.
I met Graham at a conference, a Creating Healthy Communities conference in Orlando. And I thought it would be, we talked a little bit, thought it would be a cool thing to get him to come, to share his voice with us and our young people and our community here at ARTSPEAKS, Courageous Young Voices. And it was well worth it.